Hi Chewies, here's Alexandra again, and welcome back to my next painting tutorial. Well, I must apologize a little bit for not posting much videos lately. That's because I'm hard working on my book, How to Be Successful on YouTube, and well, that takes a lot of my time. Thank you to all of you who have donated me something over my Facebook donation button. This was very helpful. I didn't manage to sell my ogres, but due to the donations, I have successfully survived this month. So, well, in the web is now the Ork Madness, and well, the Space Orcs are out. They have a new army book. I unfortunately don't have any Space Orcs. You know, I don't like orcs very much. But, well, to be kind of trendy, I will show you a painting tutorial about this Ork Boy here. So this is one of the snap fit boys from Warhammer Fantasy with a shield and hand weapon. And the first thing we are going to do is simply prime him. I will prime him like usual in grey from Army Painter, and I'll be back in a second. So guys, there you have him primed. I know that's not a lot of difference, but you can tell by the color of the base and the little sprinkles here on my nail. So what I'm going to do is now paint in the main colors. I will block out the main colors. This I will do in one step, and I will simply tell you what colors I'm using. So for the skin tone, obviously we need a green, so we take a Caliban green. For all the clothing, I will use a brown, Mournfang brown in particular. Then the shield will be painted in red, corn red. The weapon, the metal part, will be Ironbreaker, and the shoes I will paint in black. Also, this little patches here I will paint in black, like there. So, I get messages over and over again about, can you tell me, give me an exact list on all the paints you used on painting this and that miniature in videos from 2 or 3 years ago. Well, I can't do that because, well, obviously those are kind of old videos and I don't know exactly what colors I'm using. If I don't show them in the video, then, well, take the next closest. And normally I show exactly what colors I used. Like, for example, here, corn red. There's no need for me to put that in the video description. Just follow my lead. Well, like usual, I will put the paint on the palette, put in 1 drop of water to smooth out the paint, and paint all the parts in the especially color here. Don't worry when the color doesn't cover in 100% in the first stroke. That's totally okay. We will go over the whole miniature with a wash and highlight and all that kind of stuff. That doesn't matter in the first step. So, I'll be back when all the colors are blocked out. Be right back. Okie dokie tubies. As you can see, the main colors are blocked out now. I've also painted here this little skull in brown and also the teeth. And now it is time for a wash. We will go for a mixture of washes. Today we will use Ryclan Fleshshade and Nuln Oil in a 2-to-1 mix ratio. Ryclan Flesh in 2 parts. So just 4, 5, 6. That's good. And now 3 parts of the non-oil. 1, 2, 3. And that we will simply mix together, and we will result in a dark brown. And with that, we will give the whole miniature now a wash. make sure that the main areas, like for example here the shield, doesn't have any big drops on them. Other than that, go crazy with the wash. Let it pool in the recesses and create the interesting shadows and three-dimensional layers of this miniature. Don't be shy with the wash. Many people have been shy with washes and end up with just a messy miniature without any shadows in the recesses because they haven't used enough. So every corner needs to be washed. Dum-dee-dum. Dee-dum-dee-dum. So, I guess that's it. And this obviously needs to dry now for a while. Be right back. And here we go. That's the version of the Ork now with a dried wash. And we can start to actually paint now. We start with a skin tone, because it's always good to paint a miniature from the inside out. What that means is you take the lowest layer of the miniature and work your work upwards. And, well, the skin is the lowest area, and so we start with the skin. As first highlight color, I use a 50-50 mix out of Caliban green and mood green. And as usual, we will put that simply here on the palette. And we will start to highlight. If you want a darker version of an Ork skin tone, then I suggest you watch my Savage Ork video. There I paint them in a very dark skin tone, but this time I want to go even brighter. So here you can see why I'm painting from the inside out. I have made a tiny little mistake here on his shoulder band, but nothing to worry about, because that is a layer we haven't touched yet, and we can fix that very easy later. So as always, we keep the shadow areas behind so that we get a nice three-dimensional look on this Ork. I'm using here a simple standard brush from GW. Nothing too special. So, very easy to achieve everything here. Just follow the upper parts of the miniature and you're good to go. So if the color is too thick for you, then simply add a tiny bit of water and adjust the flow of the paint. Here on the muscle parts you see there are lines where the wash has run into. Those we will spare and concentrate on the higher parts. And give it a nice three-dimensional look. For example here and there, and in between there's this line, and we keep it there. So, I will continue now with the skin and be right back. Okay, the first layer of the highlight on the skin is done. And now you have several options. You can decide in which way you want to push the skin tone. There are the ways of making it more yellowish green tone, like this one here, or making it more like a olive green tone, like this here, the good old goblin green, or go even paler with the skin tone. So also you could go for a bluish turquoise skin tone if you add well, blues to it. So I will go for the yellowish skin tone, and for that approach we simply take yellow. So we have here our color left. It's a little bit dried now. I'll add some again. So if you're painting big amounts of stuff, it is always good to pre-mix your paints. So you have always the same ratio of colors you're dealing with. So I will add here a good drop of water, you see here on my brush. Bloop. Doom-de-doo. And then we take some yellow into the paint. Always put the color on the side first, so you can really adjust how much you want to add. Here you can see even this tiny little bit amount that I added had just a real big impact. Good. So now we load the brush, and if you go with this brush now on the miniature, you will overfloat the miniature. In this case, you simply take a paper towel and then you adjust the amount until it is right and it has a good nice point. And that way you can then start to paint on the miniature. Leave always a little bit of the old color behind. And if there's still too much paint on the brush, then repeat the adjusting process on a paper towel until you are satisfied. Okay, for me it is a little bit hard here, directly under the camera. Well, I'm looking here in a very strange angle beside the camera, and I can only half see the miniature, but I'm used to it, and well, everything that makes you see the process is worth it. Again, here on the muscles, keep out the shadow areas and concentrate on the upper surfaces. And you see, this color is kind of wet now, and you can increase the the intensity of the layer if you just add a second layer. See, And that way you can, with simply one color, achieve color graduation by simply going over it a second time. That's also a reason why we water down our paints. So, like usual, I will continue the process until this layer is also done. Okay, so let's continue with the last highlight on the skin. We will add even more yellow to our paint. Just like that. And also another drop of water. The higher the highlights, the more water. That's always a good thing to think about it, because every time you add color to the mix, it, well, gets thicker again, and also the color is drying out on the palette, so also you need to add water for that. So you see, this gives us now a really nice yellowish green tone for the high parts of the miniature. And voila, we have a nice three-dimensional look on all the parts. Of course, if you are painting hundreds of those boys, you might want to stop at this point. This is for gaming purposes enough if you concentrate on the face and leave the skin like that. But for this video I will make the skin also, the rest of the skin. So, and if you pull like that and a drop is here, you can always just use the tip of the brush and move this drop around until it is well, evenly distributed around the surface area. The more you paint with liquid paint, the more you get used to it, and well, it will become second nature for you. Just a matter of practice. Practice is the key. The more you paint, the better you get. Just like with everything on the world. Okay. So, for gaming purposes, this is absolutely perfect and good enough, but I will go even one step further, and I will add now a little bit of Screaming Skull to the paint. Oops, sorry. So, you see how that turns into a much paler version of the green, not so yellowish anymore. So, and with that I will pick out now only the high spots to give it their kind of a shine final highlight. however you want to call it. Just some lines like that to give it a little bit more character. So maybe a little bit here on the muscles, just a little bit, just like that. See? Okay, and voila, the skin is done. Be right back in a second. So, the coat is all brown, and well, it looks like it's all the same brown. Well, it is technically, but we can now in the highlight step divide that and separate that, because we have several brown tones in our repertoire. So, as first, we, like I said before, we start from the lowest point possible, and for that I will use now XV88, and we start to paint the coat. So, I will start with a 50-50 mix out of XV88 and Mournfang Brown. Oops, sorry. I always hit the camera when I'm shaking the pots. So, a little bit more outside the camera. And there we go. So, washing the brush properly. Removing all the excess water, especially on the metal. You don't want to paint, and then a drop of water, bloop, accidentally flooding the whole miniature. I'm also adding, like usual, a drop of water. And so, I will now start to paint his coat. You see, it is very runny, this color now, and it leaves blobs behind. Well, for me that's not a big deal. I know how to handle this, but well, if you, like I said before, if you have problems with that, then simply adjust the amount on your brush on a paper towel. This is basically the same technique like we used before on the skin, so I will skip forward now. I will highlight this in 2 steps. First this one, and then the XV88. Be right back when this is done. And so, as you can see, the coat is now highlighted, and just like I added the final highlights to the skin, I will do the same with the coat now, and I'm adding a little bit of Screaming Skull to the XV88. Oops, there you can see it. And I will apply that here and there to the edges and create final highlights for that. Well, it's a little bit too dry, so a little bit more water. Yeah, that's fine. And so you can see it really adds some three-dimensionality to the miniature. Okay. Now we have the trousers and the leather strips and this little bag there, also all in brown. And we take some different brown tones now. So we have still here our XV88 Monfang brown mix, and to give it a completely different tone, we will add some Rhinox hide to it. Okay, just like that. And voila, completely unique color. And with that, I will go now over the trousers. See, nothing special about that, but it separates from the coat immediately. Of course, you could also use different colors instead of browns if you want to have them use maybe blue jeans or something like that. Then you could go with a blue color and highlight with that. Just take a dark blue tone and highlight with a brighter one. I keep always getting asked, what exact colors do you use, and here and there. It doesn't matter. For my painting technique, it doesn't matter the exact color that I'm using, so keep that in mind. So to highlight that, I will just pick up here this brighter color, add that to it, and there we go. Also, if you are painting 50 or something like that orcs, and not everybody is have the same colors on their coats, well, that's not kind of a big deal, because, well, if you go out on the street and watch the people, even if two guys have blue jeans on, both blue jeans will have different colors, even if they are blue jeans. So now again, some final highlight. So for example, this corner here, there, just tiny little lines. We can add here and there. Okay, this is, well, the butt is a very plain surface, as you can see. There's nothing that I can do about that. That's just the way the miniature is sculpted. Well, and that is the trousers done. Okay, I'll be right back, and then we start painting the shield. Okay, tubies, for the shield, I will use a different technique now than usual. You see, it is red with a wash over it, and I will use now a stippling technique to highlight it. And in the background you hear my cat. She needs attention, but right now I'm making here a painting tutorial, and so I will now remove most of the excess paint from the brush, and you need a brush that looks like that. And with that I will now stipple over the areas. And that way I will highlight it that that was the first layer. And now I will go over it with a second layer of Mephiston red. Need to shake. There we go. Again, removing most of the excess paint. And then again. And I will concentrate more on the middle area. So, and now the third highlight is with Evil Sun Scarlet. Again, grabbing some color, removing the excess. And stippling some paint on. That way you get a rough surface. See? And in the middle we have the brightest part. This is a technique that is well, best used on big surfaces like that, where you can not well, figure out main areas that need to be highlighted. So overall we have now a gradient of color to the middle. So now for some additional highlights we will pick out with the Mephiston red here the edges of the scratches a little bit. Just like that. And overall the edge of the shield itself. So, and now with the Evil Sun Scarlet we will highlight even more. And voila, the shield is done. So, now we will pick out the teeth, and for that I will use now Baneblade Brown as a first layer. Like that. And then followed by Screaming Skull. Mixed into it. That, and then final highlight, pure Screaming Skull. Oh, there's a hair sticking out. That's not good. Okie dokie, and there you have nice orc teeth. So the miniature is almost playable. Now we will finish up the job with some silver. Let's get rid of the colors I have. Oops, sorry. Major sorry. What I wanted to say is get rid of all the colors that have been collecting here around in the painting area, and that is blocking my table. So, okay. Now we take some iron breaker. And again, the damaged brush. Oh, that was a little bit too much, but okay. So, we will remove most of the excess paint again from the brush. And with that, you see here this washed silver. We'll go over the edge now. Just like that. And give it some streaky highlight lines. And like that. It looks cool. It's done already. So now the parts that I have left black on the miniature, that is supposed to be armor, I will simply overpaint that with some silver. Also here the belt buckle. Here we go. There a little bit. We have used black for an undercoat for that, because it is a much better surface for painting silver, and also it gives it a little bit a different metal look than the blade, and separates this one from another. Okay. The last one. You may notice that I haven't painted the belts around the orc. That's simply for the fact that, well, this is a minor detail, and when you paint lots and lots of orcs, you won't notice. You can go over it with Bestial Brown again, or here Mournfang Brown, or whatever brown you want to paint it, but overall that's okay. Same for the boots, they are black, they don't need to be highlighted. That is minor details if you're painting several of them. But I have here some painting mistakes, so I will paint now the belt itself, Mournfang Brown, a little bit. So let's quickly get over with it. Dum-de-dum. Just like that. One, 2, 3 strokes, and it's done. Ta-da! So, overall, the orc is almost finished. Oh, I have forgotten the skull here. So, we will quickly also paint that, XV88, a little bit. Roughly go over it, leaving the recesses behind and the dark brown. And yeah, there we have some from the Screaming Skull left over, so we will use that. And voila, it's done. So the eyes need to be painted, so we take some of the red we also have still on the palette. Yes, orcs are supposed to have red eyes. Whoop, and done. And now the only thing left to do is the base. Like usual, I will take some white glue, paint it on the base, drag it through some sand, then let that dry, going over it with a wash, for example Noon Oil. Then after that is dried, I will dry brush it with some browns and bleach bones, or Screaming Skull in that case, and the base is done. The base corner I will paint in black, and I'll be back when this all is done and dry. And cuties, here we go. This is the finished orc now with the finished base. I hope you liked this tutorial of mine. Oops. And there he fell off the holder. Well, as always, we see us in the next video. Your Alexandra.